Versa, StashAway Simple, and Touch and Go Go Plus. Which one should you invest in? Cha-ching! What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video with the Millennial Finance. Recently, we came up with a video talking about our favorite places to stash our emergency funds, and I also mentioned that one of my favorites right now are money market funds. There are a few apps already in Malaysia that are trying to push this money market fund product, and I expect there to be more coming into the market as banks try to push this product harder and harder. Now that's not a bad thing. Money market funds are actually great products which previously retail investors don't really participate in, but now we're seeing it becoming more and more useful to everyone. So the biggest ones that we know of are StashAway Simple, Versa, and Touch and Go Go Plus. So I'll be reviewing all three of these and giving you the information of each of these platforms so that you can decide which one is the best suit for you. Let's cut straight to the chase with our first option being Versa. Versa is a relatively new platform, but then again, so are all of them. Among the three that I mentioned though, they are the only pure play money market fund. They launched in January of 2021, and after 3 months, they mentioned that they had over 10 million ringgit in deposits already, which to me is very impressive. What is more interesting though is that they mentioned that the average deposit of their customer is 2,700 ringgit, which I found it as a surprise. I've never seen these stats before from any other robo-advisors, and this is a kind of high number actually. However, I do think that this is probably skewed by large investors, people putting in millions of ringgit maybe, we never know, who is skewing or pulling this average slightly up. Anyway, this doesn't matter. Let's get to how good this platform is, starting with the interface. Since all Versa does are money market funds, it only makes sense that their interface is extremely simple to use and navigate. They don't have all the fancy dancy stuff, all the super complex stuff, but it's not necessary. They designed it very well for the product that they're doing. Everything that I need to know is on the app, and yeah, not many things to look at. Moving on to the fund that your money is actually being channeled towards. So all money that we deposit into Versa actually gets deposited into the Affin Hwang Enhanced Deposit Fund. It's a low risk fund and it doesn't have much volatility in price. With a fund size of over 1 billion ringgit, it's safe to say that it's pretty established at this point. Going deeper into the fund, we found out that as of the middle of June, their year-to-date returns are 0.8%, which I assume completely comes from dividends because the net asset value shouldn't really fluctuate in price that much. Versa projects a 2.4% annual return by investing in this fund, and interest is calculated daily and payments are made out bi-weekly. This is great because our investment gets to compound more often, even though yes, it's a small amount, 2.4% per year is nothing amazing, but for an emergency fund, it's actually pretty good. The minimum investment Versa is setting is only 1 ringgit, which is great because if you try to put your money in this Affin Hwang money market fund separately, it would be 10,000 ringgit. Moving on to fees. So Versa themselves, they don't actually charge us any fees at all, and I wonder how they actually make their money. Well, thinking about it from a logical point of view, they probably get a cut from Affin Hwang every time they deposit money from their investors. It is important to note though that Affin Hwang themselves do charge us the fees, and this goes up to 0.55% every year. We don't have to worry about forking out the 0.55% and paying it to Affin Hwang, however. This is, as usual, all already factored in, and the 2.4% projected annual return already includes fees. Now on to the last part about Versa, being deposits and withdrawals. So deposits are very simple and straightforward. We can use FPX and we can transfer using any of the banks that we have available in Malaysia. Withdrawals, however, are actually the best part and is one of the reasons that I use Versa. So if you submit a withdrawal request before 2:30 PM any business day, you'll get it in the next day. And if you submit a withdrawal request after 2:30 PM, you'll get it in 2 business days. This is very fast and it's perfect for liquidity because when we put our money into something like an emergency fund, what we need is the comfort of knowing that we can get our money back very, very quickly. Imagine putting in 100,000 ringgit in a money market fund for your emergency savings, and one day you gotta use it, but it takes you a week to get out. That's not liquid and that's not what we're looking for, which is why Versa is actually doing a great job in terms of withdrawals. I'm waiting for the day that these platforms or these apps can actually give same-day withdrawals, and as soon as any of them can, to me, they will be the clear-cut winners. If you want to sign up for Versa, you can use our code TMFXVersa You can find that in the description below, and you'll get 10 ringgit credited into your account once you put in 100 ringgit. This is limited to 400 people, so be quick. And yeah. Next up on the list, we have StashAway Simple. This is a very familiar name among our subscribers, of course. I'm sure all of you guys already know. We have multiple videos on them. Their main focus, based on my opinion, based on what I'm seeing, is actually more towards ETF investing. You know, their core portfolios, their 6% to 36% risk, but they did launch their money market fund product, calling it StashAway Simple in June of 2020. In a way then, I guess they are the first ones in the market. StashAway's interface is, as we've mentioned before, it's very clean. They do have a lot of things now because their product portfolio is much larger than Versa's at this point, but still everything is easily navigatable, if that's a word, easy to navigate. To start a simple portfolio, it's not a separate app, you don't have to apply for anything. It's as simple as just creating a portfolio just like you would with any other StashAway portfolios. In terms of funds, this is actually where it gets slightly interesting because they previously used Eastspring Investments Islamic Income Fund. Very recently, however, they sent us an email, and I think that any of you who invested in StashAway Simple, you should have gotten this email as well. They are actually switching to another fund, so we'll focus on this one. So the name of this fund is actually called Income Fund. This has been around since the year 2000 and has over 5 billion ringgit in assets under management. So of course, this one, like Versa's, is very established as well. So here's the really interesting part about this new fund. They don't just put their money in fixed deposits or, deposit related products. They actually have a portion or half of their asset allocation towards corporate bonds. So this is not a pure money market fund product per se. And even though I still think it's relatively safe, it is slightly riskier than what Versa or Touch and Go has to offer. Even with this change, StashAway is still maintaining their projections of 2.4% annual return, which is pretty much in line with what Income is saying in their fund fact sheet. One important thing to note for StashAway Simple investors is that their previous Eastspring fund was Sharia compliant, whereas the one that they're changing to now is no longer Sharia compliant. So that's a shame. With this change as well, I believe that they mentioned here that the fund or the portfolio that we start seeing now will be a 0.1% risk portfolio instead of being called StashAway Simple, I think. And this is pretty much in line with what I mentioned earlier about this being slightly riskier than a money market fund. So just like Versa, StashAway also doesn't charge any fees themselves for this money market fund product. In my opinion, or based on what I see on the business model, their main plan is to get people to download the StashAway app, register, and use StashAway Simple first as a lower risk product, and then slowly try to move them over to investing into their core portfolios, which are the riskier ones. I actually have a friend who did exactly this. She was worried about investing. She didn't like losing money. She was risk averse. So she started off with StashAway Simple, and eventually she moved towards the riskier portfolios. So yeah, StashAway, if you're watching this, I guess this is a great business model. If this wasn't actually your plan, don't worry, just claim it was all according to plan. Even though StashAway doesn't charge fees themselves, the underlying fund does, just like Versa. And again, you don't have to worry about it. The 2.4% projected returns are already net of fees. Deposits are pretty standard. You can do FPX transfers using any banks that you currently have. In terms of withdrawals though, StashAway's FAQ mentions that it takes 4 to 5 business days to process and get your money over to you once you submit a withdrawal request. So this is substantially longer than what Versa is promising. However, in reality, I don't think it actually takes this long. I tried it once before. I submitted a withdrawal request on the 24th of April and the money reached my bank on the 28th of April. So since the 24th was a Thursday, it technically took me around 3 business days. Well, not took me, it took StashAway 3 business days to get the money into my bank account. So this is slightly slower than what Versa is offering. Currently, I don't have any money in my StashAway Simple. The previous 4,000 ringgit plus that I had, I saved up to buy my X50. I withdrew that to pay the down payment, and for now, I don't think I have any plans to put it in yet. I'm still very much focused on their core portfolios or their core ETFs. If you want to give StashAway a shot, you can use our link, which we'll leave in the description below. You can get 50% off management fees for 6 months. The final product that we're reviewing today will be Touch and Go Go Plus. It's a very exciting name, and even though the product may not be the most attractive, it's actually one of the most interesting ones to me at least. This is because they are actually the first e-wallet in Malaysia to venture into something outside of it, and we've actually already made a video on this earlier, a separate video, so I won't go so deep into this product. In terms of interface, Go Plus sits within the Touch and Go app itself, so it's not a separate app. I hate those companies that make us download two separate apps for the two products. It doesn't make sense, so good job to Touch and Go. I always found their platform quite easy to navigate. There may be a bit of clutter here and there sometimes, but no problem actually. In terms of their fund, they partnered with CIMB, or actually Principal, and it's called the Principal eCash Fund. This was made specially just for Touch and Go, so that's pretty cool. And it's also low risk where there's not really much volatility in price. Out of curiosity, I just checked their net asset value for the past month, and for the entire month of June, it didn't even move by 1 cent. How boring. Imagine being a trader, trying to do technical analysis, looking at a chart like this where the price is boring, but that's exactly what we're looking for a money market product. In terms of returns, both StashAway Simple and Versa have projected ones of 2.4%, whereas Go Plus had it lower at 1.4%. Interest is calculated and paid out daily, so this is very cool. We can see our cash balance actually going up. Even though it's less than 1 cent every day, we can still see it going up slowly. And yeah, it's a cool feature in the platform, I guess. In terms of fees, same old story. Touch and Go doesn't charge fees, Principal themselves do, and this fee can go up to 0.48%, which I believe is the lowest among the three. However, with a projected return of only 1.4%, I know it's after fees, but a 1.4% annual return and then Principal charging us 0.48%, I think that the fund managers need to take a hard look at themselves and reconsider this. Surprisingly, this is not a deal breaker to me because, in my opinion, Touch and Go Go Plus has a completely different value proposition. Which goes on to our last point being deposit and withdrawals, where Touch and Go has the most unique setup around because your Touch and Go Go Plus balance is actually shared with your core e-wallet balance. This means that I can put, let's say, 1,000 ringgit into Go Plus and get that 1.4% annual returns, while at the same time, if I go through a toll or want to buy something from 7-Eleven, I can use this balance immediately at any time I want. So Touch and Go's product is extremely liquid. It's the most liquid among all of them. I have heard that Versa and StashAway Simple are also trying to do this, but yeah, right now only Touch and Go has it. This way, it'll feel like a standard bank account, like you're using a debit card, you're getting returns on it, you can spend it anytime you want, except this gives you 1.4% versus a standard savings account giving you less than 1%. So everything is a matter of perspective, I guess. If you compare Touch and Go to Versa or StashAway Simple, you might think the returns are so low. But when you compare them to a bank, then you might think this is not that bad. With the introduction of Touch and Go Go Plus, you can also now withdraw your Touch and Go balance whenever you want, but I don't know how long this takes because I have personally never done it. Looking at the FAQs though, it looks like they're pretty much in line with Versa, so that's good. In terms of me putting money in here, I always have money in my Touch and Go e-wallet, so I put it into my Go Plus balance. It's not a large amount and I don't think I will ever put a large amount here, maybe around 100 to 200 ringgit. Still, it's a great tool for me because I know that I will spend this money eventually, and that extra half a cent every single day is helpful towards me getting towards my Lamborghini. If you want to sign up for Touch and Go Go Plus, you can also use our link down in the description below. So to summarize, you actually wouldn't really go wrong with any of these products. Touch and Go Go Plus has the lowest returns, but it is extremely liquid, which kind of puts it into a different product categorization in my opinion. For Versa, it's good because it has high-ish returns and it's also very liquid. Their withdrawal times are very quick. And that is one of the reasons I actually put most of my emergency funds, well not most, but some of my emergency funds in there. For StashAway Simple, they have highest returns, withdrawals may be slightly longer, but at least you have the peace of mind of having to manage all your portfolios under just one app being StashAway. So you can have your emergency funds there, you can have your investments there, and who knows, in the future they may have many more things. Don't spend too much time thinking about which platform is the best. It's always best to just put your money in there first and get that compounding rolling as soon as you can. Thanks for watching this video till the end. If you guys enjoyed it, which I'm sure you did, yeah, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Peace out.